Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I am Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are the Office Blokes.
Yep.
Yeah.
True factual statement.
Yeah.
Are you obsessed with big cars, you two?
Big cars, not, I would say obsessed, no.
I think
I
by...
like all sorts, I do, really.
I have a very small
cars
car.
wise.
But Gaynor's got a big car.
She does.
By UK standards, a big car.
Yeah.
And yours is
Mine's quite big.
decent size.
Yeah, yours is wide.
Mine's small. It's not even got a back seat,
Yeah.
which is good for passengers.
I like all different types of cars, really. Just depends what it is, really,
You've got a
doesn't
big
it?
car. Your car's quite big.
Yeah, yours is quite big.
It's the right
It's
size.
an oversized saloon. I
Yeah,
would say.
yeah.
Family car.
I think
Yeah.
that's the right size for a
Yeah.
family car.
Yeah.
We don't have the roads for crazy big cars, do we?
That's the problem.
A lot of these American
Yeah.
cars, when you see the American car show come through town, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
If everyone was driving them, it'd
Yeah,
be chaos.
You think, how did you get here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing Americans like big cars because they've got lots of space and fuel's cheap.
Yep.
That's
That's
a
what I
big
put it
thing.
down to.
Absolutely, yeah.
And why wouldn't you have a massive pickup truck if you could?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd love one.
What's the fuel about half the price? What we pay, I guess. Must be.
They sell
talked
it by
about
the
we
gallon.
talked about it the other day, and it's I think we're at about $9 a gallon, in UK gallon, imperial gallon.
So are they
And
mostly?
they're about 3.30, 3 to 3.50 a gallon.
But their gallons
Right.
are 3.5 litres.
3.78.
3.78. So it's slightly less. Are they when they say gas? Are they talking about petrol?
Yeah, diesel's a lot more expensive.
So it's like
Diesel's
gas
like
and
$1
diesel.
a fuel, $1 a gallon more.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've heard Americans say it's creeping up over there and it's getting expensive by their standards.
So
It was a lot cheaper when I was there.
So they mainly have petrol engines then?
Yeah.
That never occurred to me
yeah.
that, you know,
Yeah.
they have mainly petrol.
Yeah, mostly petrol.
Right, okay.
Fair enough. Let's find out why Americans are obsessed with big cars. Let's do it.
Americans love big cars.
Big cars they're fun, they're roomy. I mean, this thing, when you go down the road in it, people notice it.
The U.S. is the country of
Did not expect him to sound like that.
No.
Cadillacs with massive tail fins and oversized pickup trucks.
Yeah.
We are all about wide open spaces here, and we drive big cars because we can.
Compared with Europe or countries like Japan, the market for bigger cars in America is just, well, bigger. In Europe, for example, small cars like city cars, subcompacts, and compact cars made up more than 35% of sales in 2021. In the US, the same three segments made up just over 10% of sales. Consumer demand has driven automakers to make vehicles bigger and bigger. Regulatory loopholes favoring trucks, say some industry analysts, have helped the shift. Big cars are more expensive, often much more, and especially if they burn gasoline, more harmful to the environment. They take up more space on the road and in parking lots. They are also much more fatal in car accidents.
Our current system of regulating safety of vehicles is not providing a check on the weight of vehicles and the disparity of weight across the fleet.
CNBC looked into America's obsession with big cars and why it matters.
There's something about gigantic pickup trucks, though, isn't there?
Yeah, look huge from the
think they're
front,
awesome.
don't they?
Yeah, they wouldn't, like you say, they wouldn't work over here.
No, no chance.
One of my mates, when I went to back to America last year, he come to meet us in the pub, and he had a massive, like, I want to say it was like, I'm not sure, was it an F-150 or was it a Ram? But it was like a quad cab, humongous sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It was just huge.
Yeah.
Then he had the big sort of like wheels on it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was all kitted out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was massive.
Full
The,
bit.
the first one I ever saw was in Canada, in Banff, and there's a picture of me stood next to it, and I'm 6'2", and the bonnet is
Yeah.
about head height
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, yeah.
So the driving position is like
Up there.
right
It's
up
ridiculous,
there.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Such a beast.
This car is huge. It's almost 20 feet. Why are they so big?
Because they could be. Gas was a quarter when this car was made. Who cared what the gas mileage was? And we wanted comfort, and we wanted style, and we wanted space.
This is Rick Payton. He is a General Motors loyalist. He loves Cadillacs, and especially Cadillacs from the brand's heyday in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. At that time, big cars meant something similar to what they mean today: luxury, comfort, and status. Driving a lumbering Cadillac or Lincoln Continental signified that you are a person living the good life.
My aunt had a 79 Coupe de Ville, and I remember that car as a kid and fondly remember it.
He has 2 classic Cadillacs and a Buick in his garage in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and several more such cars in a shop a few towns away.
This is a Cadillac Eldorado. This was the king of the heap in '55. So this was the most expensive car they made. This is the second most expensive car they made in '55. This is a '55 Fleetwood. So cool things about this. Where would you put gas in this car?
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Car's about probably 19 feet something.
His collection shows the American obsession with big vehicles stretches back decades. Cars such as his Cadillac Fleetwood were the most desirable rides of their day.
This was the king of the heap. I mean, they didn't make a more luxurious car in the United States in 1961 than this. This is one of the biggest cars that you could buy at the time. This was the SUV of the day. This is the closest representation of what an Escalade is back then.
It's proper like a symbol of decadence as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
The bodywork and the paint jobs
Yeah.
and everything are just...
It's amazing how designs change over the years as well, isn't it? When you look at cars and the older cars, and sometimes things go back, don't they, to like clothes-wise.
Yeah.
But the cars just seem to be being developed and have different designs all the time. They don't seem to be sort of like regressing, do they? And going
Some
for like
do.
a 50s look.
Some do when you get like maybe not
so.
50s, but when
Yeah.
you look at like the Mustangs, for example, some of the more modern Mustangs have like a reference to sort of like a,
Just have a bit of a look about it.
late
Yeah,
60s Mustang.
Yeah.
There's a car over
True.
here that has got that kind of iconic mobster style bonnet that he just showed on one, where it's kind of got the wings and then the bit in the middle.
Yeah.
I wonder
A modern car.
Yeah. I say modern in the last 10 years.
Is it like have you seen many? They always come in that pale green colour.
There's not many of them. Yeah,
I'm talking about the same car.
possibly.
I think it's a foreign car.
Right.
I want to say it's something like a Czech built,
Just-
sort of like Lada type thing.
it's
Not a
got-
Lada, but something like
It's
that.
got
Yeah.
that kind of...
I know which one you mean.
shape.
Yeah. And it's got like, like I said, the only ones I've ever seen is like a pale green and like maybe a beige colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird ones,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think nowadays it's more dictated by technology, isn't it? So
True,
aerodynamics
yeah.
and things like that.
Safety and things like that.
Whereas then it was just probably
Space.
guys who didn't know much about
Yeah, big-
aerodynamics, but they're just going, big boot,
Big silver
big
fenders
engine.
with like edges on them and stuff like that.
yeah.
You just can't get that these days, can you?
Be a load of guys stood in the design room just chain smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey,
Yeah.
going, "What look cool on that?
Yeah.
Add it, do it."
They have that now.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Ed Kim runs Auto Pacific, which conducts surveys and other research for automakers, suppliers, and others in the auto industry.
One of the things that researchers commonly ask is, what size of vehicle do you want next time? And there will almost always be a significant number of people that say, I want something bigger next time.
Customers express preferences for bigger vehicles. Automakers respond to that. Take, for example, the BMW 3 Series, an iconic performance sedan. When it was first introduced, it was far smaller than it is today.
A lot of people kind of consider the E36 generation, which came out in the early 90s, to kind of be the ideal embodiment of what a 3 Series should be. But it just kept getting bigger, to the point where now it's not so far off from what the 5 Series was not that long ago.
Kim says that this kind of size creep, where automakers bulk up a specific model over time, might result from misinterpreting survey data.
Automakers take that data very literally and take that to mean, okay, we need to make the next generation of this vehicle bigger. And then because automakers always benchmark each other automakers end up doing the same and they make their vehicles bigger, and the cycle goes on and on and on.
Researchers at Consumer Reports have found evidence of size creep, especially among pickup trucks. The group found that the hood height of passenger trucks, such as the top-selling Ford F-150, the Chevrolet Silverado, and even mid-sized trucks, has increased by an average of 11% since the year 2000. New pickup trucks grew 24% heavier on average from 2000 to 2018.
On some of these what they call heavy-duty trucks, like the Ford F-250, the 2500 series Ram and Silverado, the front edge of that hood is now 55 inches or more off the ground, and that's as tall as...
Pedestrians have got no chance, have they?
That's what I mean. They're not pedestrian friendly, really, are they? Just flatten them, wouldn't it?
Absolute monsters, aren't they?
Good size of it.
And they get bigger than that. That looks like it's like stock wheels on it and stuff. doesn't it?
Silverado,
Yeah.
like, isn't it? It's one of the bigger ones, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, like, people make them bigger.
Oh yeah, they jack them up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
bigger wheels and
That's what I'm saying about my mate. He might even have a Silverado. It was something like that. He was one of them one of them three.
Yeah.
And he had his jacked up and all that kind of stuff. He's got the wheel flares on it and all that kind of stuff that go on the back. I think he's got like the what do you call it? The on the chassis, like the double wheelbase or whatever you call it.
Oh yeah.
He's got like the two wheels on the back.
Yeah, no, right.
Absolute
But
beast.
he's a truck driver.
Yeah.
He drives 54-foot trucks or whatever. So he's not going to get out of that into a fucking
Fiesta.
Toyota Yaris.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The roof of some sedans.
The reintroduced Ford Ranger is bigger than the outgoing version that was discontinued in 2011. In fact, when Ford dropped the old Ranger in 2011, it said it did so because not enough people were buying small trucks to keep producing it.
It
Looks
isn't
horrible.
necessarily that trucks themselves are getting bigger. It's more that when a bigger option.
That's what we have over here now, that new Ranger.
Yeah.
That's over here at the moment. They're small in the USA. The Ranger.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
They're gigantic.
The one
on
they
our
had before,
roads.
the one that was outdated. That's my mate Barry I talk about. That's what he had. He had the white Ford Ranger like that, exactly the same.
They're saying, people weren't buying that size. I think he just alluded to, but the styling on that, considering it's 2011,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's
it was
shocking.
Great, was it?
Yeah, but I think they might have shown an older one than that. I
is
don't know.
available, more customers buy it.
SUVs, crossovers, and pickup trucks now dominate car sales.
Wow.
Some researchers
Huge, huh?
say that regulations have incentivized automakers to make bigger vehicles. Kate Whitefoot is a researcher who has studied emissions rules. She says that when the government started regulating fuel efficiency in the 1970s, rules didn't take into account the size of the vehicles an automaker sold. But a lot of companies importing into the US market were selling smaller cars that by nature burned less fuel. So in the early 2000s, new regulations introduced what is called a footprint-based standard.
That meant that automakers that sold larger vehicles could meet less stringent regulations. And that was built out of this desire to kind of protect the US-based automakers and fairly distribute impacts across the different automakers.
That created an incentive to build larger vehicles in three ways. One is that the standards themselves are based on the sizes of vehicles that automakers are producing. The more large vehicles they produce, the lower the regulatory target they have to hit is. That in itself can create an incentive to shift toward larger vehicles. Secondly, the revised rules split vehicles into two categories: passenger cars and light trucks, which includes SUVs and pickup trucks.
If a vehicle is classified as a light truck, then it also has less stringent regulations compared to if it was classified as a passenger car.
Lastly, if a vehicle is big enough, it doesn't fall under the rules at all. It is no longer considered a light-duty vehicle. It is now considered a heavy truck. Whitefoot and fellow researchers did a study in 2011 that basically predicted the repercussions of such laws.
When we evaluate those trade-offs, does this incentive exist under these regulations for automakers to increase the size of their vehicles? And we did see that it could under quite a large set of scenarios.
While the overall size and weight of the fleet haven't changed all that much, they have taken off in certain segments, especially in pickup trucks. Since the mid-1990s, pickup truck weight on average has increased over 1,000 pounds.
I was considering a pickup at one point. I was considering leasing one.
Yeah.
But it was the congestion charge, the green air charge that we're going to bring in Manchester. It was like, absolutely not, because it's classed as a work vehicle, isn't
Like a
it?
commercial vehicle.
Yeah, so it'd be like £10 every time I drive to work.
Yeah.
Which is just... They never clarified pickup trucks in the actual rules.
Yeah.
So
That's right,
it's
yeah.
just a non-starter straight away, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they don't really use them over here. People don't use them as their everyday vehicle, whereas in the USA they do.
Yeah.
You see a few more of the trains going around them now, don't you? Instead of vans.
Yeah.
So you see a few pickups doing that, but
Yeah.
not so much as a everyday vehicle. You don't see 'em much at all, do you?
People definitely are going more for crossovers and SUVs and stuff in this
Yeah,
country.
that has grown even over here. It's grown
Yeah.
massively.
It's
hasn't it?
huge,
last
isn't it?
last 5-10 years, it's
Yeah.
really grown.
Look at the amount of like Nissan Qashqais out there.
Yeah,
and
well, everyone's
things
making
like
them
that.
now as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
They started off a few people
Yeah.
making them, but now everyone's doing it.
They're small ones, though, aren't they? They're like little.
Yeah.
I wonder what the size of SUV is like in the States, though. I know we've got the big ones, but I wonder if they've got the Nissan Qashqais and
I don't know if
the...
you've got the Qashqai. I'm sure they have.
What's the...
I'm sure they have those as well.
The
don't they?
Hyundai
RAV4,
Tucson.
The RAV4 was always a popular one when I was there.
Yeah.
So like that was like the smaller sort of like SUV
Yeah.
type thing. But then you got the SUVs you had over there. There was loads of big ones, because you had obviously Chevrolet do the big,
Yeah.
the bigger cars, and Ford do the Expedition, which is quite big. The Explorer was quite a big car over there as well, which you don't really see many Explorers over here. I don't think I've ever seen one over here, to be honest.
No, I don't think so.
Possibly not.
No, I think they did the Escape over here, didn't they? The Ford Escape.
We've had like the Ford ones with the more dad wagons, the people carriers.
Yeah.
Like the D-Max and the C-Max and things like that.
Yeah.
That were
Galaxy
just,
as well or something.
Yeah, the Galaxy,
Yeah,
which
that's
were
right. People
just
van.
horrible.
Yeah, hideous.
That's like you've given up and you're that beaten by your wife that you have to drive that.
yeah. But I think I've seen a Ford Escape over here.
Yeah.
Right.
A few times.
I can't picture it.
It's like that was the smallest one they did.
Right.
Because I think they all seem to have an E-Line, didn't they? They had the Expedition, the Explorer, the Escape.
I don't think that followed over here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it did
Yeah,
anyway.
not sure.
Research has found that in the event of a crash, a 1,000-pound increase in weight increases the chance of a fatality by 40 to 50%.
Wow.
That's
The
big.
problem is that other people on the road can't choose how big the vehicles around them are. They also can sometimes create situations where a crash that may have been avoidable isn't as avoidable. So we found that some trucks have front blind spots that are 11 feet longer than in some sedans and 7 feet longer than in a lot of popular SUVs.
We've seen like what we call an arms race in vehicle size and weight, because if I'm concerned about my own safety, I'm just concerned about, is my vehicle bigger and heavier than other vehicles around me? And so vehicles, as a result, get larger and larger and larger because people just want to outcompete each other.
Big cars tend to be more expensive than small ones.
We've seen median transaction prices rise pretty considerably over the last few years. Part of that is due to the simple fact that small entry-level vehicles have increasingly been disappearing from US showrooms.
Automakers are axing small models. The Toyota Yaris is gone from the US.
I'm surprised they had the Yaris. That's tiny for
size.
their
Small
road,
car,
isn't it?
Yeah, really
But
small.
there is a smaller one than that as well.
IQ.
No, they do the Aygo.
iGo, yeah, but
Ah,
I
of
think
course,
I think it's the iGo, and then the IQ is even smaller.
I've not
than
seen
that,
the
I
IQ.
think.
I've never seen one of them.
No, I can't
Tiny.
remember.
They're like
Never heard of
smart
them.
cars.
Oh, really?
Right.
Never
Yeah,
even
like
heard of
those
that.
proper little ones.
The only one I've seen that's tinier than that is like that Volkswagen Up, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's tiny as well.
Yeah, that's small.
Feels like I can pick it up and put it in my pocket.
I know, yeah. You wouldn't feel safe in one, would you?
No.
The UK is full of tiny cars. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
A lot of
Yeah.
people are scared. Like they're scared to drive a bigger vehicle.
But it's the
so-
roads, and the roads are made more for it, aren't they? And especially, they are good for younger people, especially around town and
Yeah.
city centres, because a lot cheaper to run, aren't they?
But I think young people, it should be like a VW Polo or a Golf, or that size hatchback.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Not your tiny little. You've got no chance if you're in an
No, I
accident.
know,
I was
yeah.
sat in traffic the other day. There was a car next to me, like an Aygo. It had like 5 people, and I'm just looking in it, like going, like, how uncomfortable must you lot be?
I know, yeah.
Did you start
I'll
revving
bet.
your engine next to it?
I think they wanted a race as well. That was the mad thing
Did
about
they?
it.
Oh,
Just went,
dear.
go on, you can go. Before I put it in gear.
Ford discontinued just about all its passenger cars, including its Focus and Fiesta. Chevrolet got rid of the Sonic and the Cruze. The Hyundai Accent and Kia Rio are on their way out. The Nissan Versa sells just a fraction of what it used to. And that applies for entire brands specializing in small cars, like Fiat. They have left the US entirely.
Huge
Meanwhile,
over here.
Fiat's American sister brands, Ram and Jeep, have become tremendously successful, selling some of the most popular vehicles available today, big SUVs and pickup trucks. While small cars are tough to sell in much of the US, they are still popular where roads are too narrow, gas is too pricey, and parking too scarce to justify hulking pickups or SUVs. But SUVs are seeing serious growth in Europe too. An analysis from JATO Dynamics has found that in 2018, about 30% of new cars registered were SUVs. In 2021, that number had reached nearly 40%. That popularity comes at the expense of small cars, which have gone from 49% of share in 2018 to about 42% in 2021. That
Sports
trend has
cars
continued
non-existent.
in the first half of
It was just a flat line for sports cars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You think but they are for people who have done well enough to be able to afford a car like that, isn't it?
Affordable in the USA.
Well, what classify as a sports car then?
Porsche.
So, like the muscle cars wouldn't come under that category
No, it's not
in the
sports
States.
cars, no.
Yeah.
I'd like Porsche,
Same stuff we have over here.
Same.
Yeah.
2022.
The Corvette.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that the rise of electric vehicles could change all this. Electric powertrains take up a lot less space in cars than do internal combustion engines. With more interior space, some industry analysts say it is possible Americans will seek out smaller cars simply because new EV vehicle designs will make better use of a car's total footprint. Tastes change too, even after decades of obsession. Peyton has lately developed a fascination with small, agile British cars. He bought a 1961 MG-A, which is dwarfed by the size of his Cadillac.
Wow.
I've always flirted with British cars. They're interesting. They look at a different way to do it.
American GIs became obsessed with cars like these during World War II. That obsession unnerved American car makers enough to prompt the creation of a new generation of smaller, more agile American cars, such as the Corvette, the Ford Thunderbird, and eventually the Ford Mustang, each a legend in its own right.
The whole start of the Americans' love
nice
affair
looking
with
car,
the
isn't it?
automobile and sports cars, that all came out of English cars.
Didn't drive very far, did he?
Reversed down.
Drove it back in again.
Probably as far as it goes without breaking down.
Hey, I know, yeah. Took me back as well.
British
The
car,
old
MG.
manual choke on it as well. Oh dear, hell, those are the days.
I don't know if when I go to the USA last time, I had a Jeep Cherokee. I think was the hire car I got.
That's a good size.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. It's bigger than what you get over here. Probably. I don't see many Cherokees over here, do you?
They
no,
are.
you don't
They
do
are
Wrangler.
about.
See the old Wrangler.
Yeah, I think they were a stage in like the 90s where you had quite a few of them.
I think there's
and 2000s, but I think they've definitely gone down.
I think it may have been
last few years.
discontinued.
Yeah,
in the
I
past
think
few
so.
years.
Yeah.
But still pretty decent size.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the size of my car. You know, when it comes to parking in supermarkets and stuff, that's the right size. Any bigger,
it's a bit of
it'd be a
everything, isn't
pain
it?
in the
You know,
arse.
it's still good size, but you can still park it and
Yeah.
drive around the roads is fine.
I parked in a hospital today, and the car park there was absolutely just.
It's bad car park.
Rammed.
that.
I don't normally park in the car park.
Do you know what you have to do on that? You have to go all the way to the far back.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, that's where I park.
But I usually park in. There's a bay at the back of the hospital
Yeah.
that's for emergency services.
Yeah, you go in
not
there.
not
Yeah.
ambulances and stuff, but I usually have a thing to put in the window
Yeah.
to say visiting.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna have to do the car park, and it was just, it was like that getting into a space. It was horrible.
Even when you're driving around that car park, people park out the bays. And you wouldn't get some of them SUVs.
You'd have no chance, would you?
No
It'd be an
chance, no.
incident.
They're absolutely huge, some of those, aren't
Yeah.
they? They really are, some of them pickups. Absolutely.
But like I
massive.
say, I mean, when I saw my mate and he had like the Ram or whatever it was he had, it was humongous.
Yeah.
But when he parked up in the car park, it didn't look that much out of place
Yeah.
because there was other cars similar sort of
Like that.
size in
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
If you had the room for it and you can afford to run it, why not?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I'd be doing it without a doubt.
Yeah, it's a good bit about using them every day, like car parks as well in supermarkets. Just not made for trucks like that.
No,
You'd have to literally take up 2 spaces, probably, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really would.
Yeah. And that's frowned upon over here.
It is,
Yeah. Oh wow.
As soon as you do that over here, jeez.
You're named and shamed on Facebook.
do.
so-
Yeah, it's bad. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below if what big car you've got.
Yeah,
I'd
nice.
be interested to know.
Yeah.
We're all car guys, aren't we, in a way?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
roundabout way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.